The following is a paid commercial. ABC 9 does not recommend or endorse the use of any product or service mentioned.
The following is a paid promotional announcement for the Elements in Storm Lake. Well, if you've been to the Elements on the west end of Storm Lake, I think you'll agree that it is the most unique shopping experience in Northwest Iowa and beyond. And I think you'd also agree that their slogan, "We're anything but ordinary," rings true. With me is Kathy Sorbe, owner of the Elements. And Kathy, we want to talk about your design service and how a house call with you and the other designers from the Elements can really take a project at home from A to Z and solve some of those design and decorating challenges. But before we do that, I want to hear about this incredible, charming old brick barn that is now a home base for the Elements.
Oh, you're asking me to talk about my favorite subject in the whole world, so this is the easy part. I've been watching this barn for probably 30 years, thinking what a great shop it would be. And I think in 1944 when it was built, it was a manufacturing plant. It became a contractor's warehouse and work area. When I finally decided that it was time for me to open a store, I had a girlfriend call me and say, "You're not going to believe what just came on the market." It was just like meant to be, it was destiny, and that's where it started.
And the furniture and accessories and the things that are in this old barn just lend themselves to the architecture and the feel of it all.
Everything here, we tried to keep it exactly like it was. We didn't clean up any stained floors or fix any bumps in the cement floors or anything like that. And our vision was to show wonderful things, wonderful furniture, accessories in a really rough surrounding. And there's something compelling about that. And we also thought, shoot, if we can make these old walls and this space look good, think about what we could do for your living room. You know,
Exactly.
it's perfect.
There's a boutique here.
Beckley's Boutique is a wonderful space, and we also have a kitchen house where we do bridal registry and all the kitchen accessories. We have bed and bath, we have bedroom furniture, all the furnishings. We have so many different vendors that we sell furniture through. We have one of the largest selections of art in Northwest Iowa, maybe even in the state. It's one of our favorite things. So we managed to keep things very fresh because we are busy and we move a lot of things out every day, so it changes every day.
Well, and you have a staff, I think, that is a real key ingredient to your success here.
You know, fortunately, it's a staff that everyone likes their job, and we're lucky to be able to work this hard and enjoy every day. But we have 16 people in all. We have grown from, I don't know how many, I think we started with 3. And we have 5 designers on staff now, so there are so many things that we still want to do and so many things that we're able to do because of this store.
Well, Kathy, let's get to the design service. It's a little tricky to describe, and I'm sure we have viewers and perhaps customers who aren't aware of it or how it works.
That is true. Actually, our design services can start at any level. We can work with your blueprints, we can work with your contractor. We can just give you paint colors for your dining room if that's all you need. We can work with remodels, and we do landscape ideas and exteriors. But probably one of the most favorite services that we have for both client and the designers is what we call a house call. We'll go to the client's home, look at the things that they already have, the things that they want to keep. We'll talk to them about a budget, and then a couple weeks later we'll go back with new accessories to work in with the ones that they have, sometimes a piece of furniture depending on their budget. Put everything in place. There'll be 3 or 4 of us. We're so fast because we do it a lot. And we walk out and leave it on approval for like a week.
And they can keep what they like?
Absolutely.
And send back what they don't.
It's risk-free.
Well, let's talk about an old farmhouse, one of your clients. Boy, that's a challenge in and of itself, isn't it?
Well, it's an old farmhouse, but it's lived in by a very young, urban, hip couple. And you know, there were challenges. We needed a new kitchen, we needed new flooring. They wanted to add on to make a larger living space. We were going to add a fireplace, and we had to add new windows too. So we knocked out every wall that we could and kind of started from scratch with the flooring in the kitchen, and the final part of it came with all the wonderful colors and the textures that we put throughout that living space. Lots of metal, lots of monochromatic colors. When you do a monochromatic color, and these colors were dark, then you're able to do something really, really dramatic with the accessories, like large pieces of art that had lots of bold color. This is a young-looking home, and it suits the personalities of the people that live there.
Even though it's a large room, it's very inviting.
It is.
And a dramatic 10 or 11-foot island there, that's where people are going to hang and live,
Yeah,
right?
that's the hub of the house, right there.
And they did a wonderful job with the exterior. It does not look like a 60-year-old farmhouse.
It doesn't anymore. And,
No.
and the windows were really important. We really wanted those windows to be black paned windows. That's not an easy thing to find in the Midwest, and we're starting to see more and more of it. And the exterior look, without landscaping and without some softening, that's a real challenge to give it some style. So we help them design their landscaping, and we also help them design their patio with a pergola and plantings and the furniture that they placed outside.
And these owners love this room.
They love this room.
I'm talking to Kathy Sorbe, owner of the Elements on the west end of Storm Lake, about some projects that reflect your design service, and this was quite a challenge. A big room can be cold, it can be impersonal, and all this space was sort of being wasted by this family. They didn't gravitate there, did they?
They didn't gravitate. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. But they and their family and friends found themselves constantly drifting toward a really small, kind of a cozy, intimate little area, and they just felt more comfortable there. That was one of the problems, but the other problem was the furniture that they had in this room was not comfortable. I mean, that has to be the top of the list in priorities.
Oh,
things
sure.
have to be comfortable first. It's easy to make things pretty after that. So we looked at changing the color, and we made it a really deep, deep color that contrasted beautifully with their white woodwork and their white stairway. But this really, really high-ceilinged room gave us some challenges as well as some opportunities to do some really different things. For example, we were able to put really beautiful, dramatic art way above the furniture line, which brought those high ceilings and high walls down into the living area and warmed it up and made it feel completely finished.
And here's a great example where the art in the room doesn't have to be a painting per se.
Well, it's true. There's sculpture out there. The discs that we used there, these large silver discs on the wall, high on the next to the ceiling, was
Striking.
It was a stunning piece, and it was big, but it wasn't busy. And we also did some art and layered some accessories on a big shelf above the TV, and it was just a wonderful way to make all the high space come down with the lower area. But the rug was important too. The rug is a key tool to use when you're creating a conversation area. When all the furniture is sitting on that rug, it separates itself from the rest of the room, and it kind of creates a little oasis that just calls to you. So you want to go in and sit down and relax.
And a lesson here, don't be afraid of a dark color because it works here.
It works here.
Now here, Kathy, is a 1960s ranch with some limitations, some low ceilings, and some challenges for you, I think.
It was really dated. Things hadn't changed since they built it, I'm sure. One of the challenges was the lack of a defined foyer area. The windows were small, and the rooms were fairly cut up with some walls that really didn't need to be there. The fireplace was black and white brick. It was pretty noisy. But mainly we needed to open the space, so we cut out as many walls as possible. We replaced some small windows with really large patio doors with extra windows on either side to really let the sunshine in. We painted everything in shades of white. White on the trim, a different shade of white on the walls, contrasted it with a beautiful dark stained floor. So what we achieved here was a feeling of airiness and a feeling of timelessness, basically, because it didn't say 1960s ranch anymore. It
Right.
just said very comfortable home.
And here's a room that's not a huge room, but the baby grand piano was important to them, and it works.
It does work. It became the star of the show in that room.
And books.
And books, one of our favorite decorating tools. They bring art, they bring life to a room, and I don't think you can have too many.
So now you've used the term repurpose. I've heard you say that. I'm not sure what it means.
There are a lot of homes that have rooms that are basically walkthroughs, formal living rooms, formal dining rooms. You know, we just don't entertain that way anymore. So some of these rooms become unused, and it is our goal to try to use every room every day, if that's a possibility. The owners had their grand piano in a very small dining area. And we just decided that we'd move the grand piano out into the main living space where it could really shine.
Sure.
We went back to the dining room and decided to put a small wet bar in there. We added a vintner's table and chairs, and it's become an adult social area. They use it every day and they just absolutely love it. They also built onto this house on the back side with a really large sunroom, and this sunroom is 3 sides of huge, wonderful windows, a great window seat. That's the hub of their home when they're entertaining now, is in that room.
And here's an example of a family who had some pieces, family pieces or treasures that they wanted to keep, and you were able to do that and mix in the new stuff.
I think the mix is probably one of the most important things in design, because everybody has things that they're close to that mean something to them. They're not always antiques, but they're personal items. It's one of the ways of making sure that the finished space doesn't look like you bought it out of a magazine, that reflects the personalities of the people who live there.
If you just joined us, I'm talking to Kathy Sorbe from The Elements about some projects her customers had, some challenges at home in terms of decorating and design. And here's a home on the lake with beautiful views, wonderful windows, but not without some challenges.
Well, you're right. I think at the foyer, the area isn't huge, but the ceilings are really high. And so we tried to maximize the weight of our furnishings in that foyer area to stretch it out and make it seem like it's a bigger space. Also, right after you step inside, you'll see an arched ceiling that has inlaid tile in it, which was the homeowner's idea.
Very unique.
And it's a stunning entry. That leads us into the dining room, which they kept this room really, really simple.
I thought something that was very striking was the juxtaposition of this ornate chandelier with a very simple dining room table and chairs.
Honestly, it works so well. The chairs themselves are almost tailored, but the scale of that table is key in there, and it really stretches out the space. Along with that, there are 3 pieces on the wall in this room. 1 large piece of art.
And 2 mirrors.
2 big mirrors.
And they really work here.
They really do. They just do a lot of quiet work. They reflect light, they reflect movement, they give life to the space.
The built-ins in the big room here really are attractive, and the books, again, play a role.
Well, that was one of our client's favorite things, and she had those bookcases in mind long before that room was built. And they go all the way up to a 14-foot ceiling. So we interspace some pieces of art and some collectible things that they have had through the years with the books to really make it a focal point of the room, and it's a stunning one.
Well, Kathy, 5 different challenges, 5 different homes, and 5 happy customers. I think you were up to the challenge, and it must have been fun.
It was great fun, and it was really rewarding.
Well, I want to talk about house.com, an international website, and you have a couple of prestigious awards from House.
Well, we were fortunate, we were honored. We won Best of House for 2 years in a row, and it's a great website. It's a resource that we use every day. It's one of those addictive websites, but it's just wonderful for us to be able to see all the new things that are out there.
And that's HOUZZ.com. But I want to talk about your website, because that's a great way to get acquainted with the store and this incredible service you offer with your house calls and your design service. elementsbyksorbe.com. And of course, the best way is to come and see this charming old brick barn that has become home base for the Elements. And that's west on Highway 7 in Storm Lake. Kathy, thanks for being with me.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
The preceding was a paid promotional announcement for the Elements in Storm Lake.